Hi, I'm Benjamin Klempner, founder and CEO of the Yad Lashu Foundation. While I was in college, one of the things I really enjoyed doing was poetry readings of both poetry and prose. So, here on the Yad Lashu Foundation's blog, I've decided that we would start a weekly poetry or prose reading. I'm going to start out with something that I wrote, but please feel free to send in your own prose and poetry, and I will read your prose and poetry. The name of this piece is Gabe, an all-star athlete, and it's prose. While in college, I had the privilege of meeting Gabe. Gabe was injured in a sports accident, rugby to be exact, and his neck was broken. Before his injury, Gabe was an all-star athlete and an accomplished violinist. Immediately after the accident, his surgeon told him that most likely he'd be a quadriplegic. But if he were lucky, he might be a paraplegic. Tenacious by nature, Gabe was unwilling to accept the doctor's diagnosis. Gabe was blessed with caring and dedicated nurses and physical therapists. There was no way that a doctor or anybody else was going to allow him to think that he'd be spending the rest of his life in a wheelchair. 6 weeks after his accident, after undergoing extensive physical therapy, Gabe stood up from his wheelchair. He stood for a moment and then fainted from sheer exertion. The next day, he stood again, and this time he took one step forward. On the third day, he took 2 steps forward. And so it went until he was walking. When Gabe and I met for the first time, he was still using a wheelchair. The last time I saw Gabe, he was walking without the use of a cane. The year after Gabe's accident was a terribly difficult year for him both physically and emotionally. It was a year of monumental physical and emotional exertion. At the same time, however, the university that we were attending, the University of Montana, had the top-ranked football team in the nation. The star athlete of the football team was considered by most to be the top athlete on campus. However, I knew better. I knew that Gabe was the top athlete on campus. I have told many Gabe's story, as I believe it is a story of hope and the strength of the human spirit. It is a story that instills in each of us the knowledge and the vision that where there's a will, there's a way, and that nothing stands in the way of a clear vision accompanied by true determination. A situation might look difficult and might even be more difficult than it appears. However, each of us has the capacity to meet challenges with fierce determination and succeed. I encourage and invite each of you to send in your prose and your poetry so that I can read it on the Yad Lashuv blog. Thank you. Until next week.